Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday, the 23rd of November 2023. In today's Millwall news, we will start off with this from southernnews.co.uk. Now, it is November, the end of November. The January transfer window opens, remarkably, in January. And that's not far away. And we are being warned to curb your expectations, curb your enthusiasm. So here we go. We have to be realistic. Millwall recruitment chief on why club will not be prioritising the January window and the importance of being rational in the market. Translated, we haven't got a pot to piss in. I surmised a couple of weeks ago when Joe Edwards came out of nowhere, and we had the interview from Alex Aldridge that he gave just last week, I believe. That made it sound like we were going with the cheap option. It made it sound like that they put Adam Barrett in charge and they wanted him to win some games, and then they would have made Adam Barrett the manager. That didn't happen, so they had to quickly scramble and find another cheap replacement, a cheap coach, and they found Joe Edwards, and they approached him and asked him, hey, do you want to come and do this job? So there you go. And because the rumours were that Kevin Muscat wanted 35 grand a week, which is and then I think the other names in the frame as well would also wanted large sums of money, and that seemingly wasn't an option for Millwall. So we end up with Joe Edwards, head coach and not manager. So Alex Aldridge and head coach Joe Edwards have already been in discussion over transfers, but are focusing on the long term. Millwall's director of recruitment has told fans not to expect a major overhaul in the next window. Joe Edwards' arrival as the new head coach earlier this month has brought with it hopes of a fresh style on play and exciting new recruitments. The window reopens in January when clubs get a chance to boost their squads with mid-season additions. Alex Aldridge has been heavily involved in Millwall's signings since joining the club in 2015. And after leaving and then rejoining from Stoke City, became the Director of Football Operations and Recruitment at the Den in 2022. He said that he and Edwards, not Ian Edwards, were looking towards the future rather than a dash to bring in recruitment at the next possible opportunity. Aldridge told the News at Den, yes, we've had chats about the January transfer window, but more of our discussion is about the next 2, 3, 4 transfer windows and what we want the squad to look like and how we're going to get there. I think we have to be realistic, and Joe is realistic, that you can't make big changes to your squad in January. It's an availability driven transfer window the majority of the time. There's a few factors in there. Injuries are up 15% in the Premier League this season, I think partly due to the extra time that we're playing and the knock-on effect of the mid-season World Cup last year, which means squads are a bit more stretched, so it might be harder to get players out on loan. You've also got the African Cup of Nations in the new year, which will have a knock-on effect in terms of availability of players from those clubs. Not just the players going to AFCON, but then the players that stay behind and maybe slot into squads to cover injuries in the Premier League. Of course, we'll look at the squad and strengthen where we can, but more of our discussions are about the long term and looking ahead to next summer and the bigger picture beyond that. While he has never managed a senior club before, Edwards arrives with a raft of experiences and connections for various roles at Chelsea, Everton and the Football Association, where he was briefly England's under-20s boss earlier this year. Aldridge is positive that the 37-year-old's strong network of contacts can help in the line's attempts to sniff out a good deal in a competitive transfer market, but he warns this will not automatically result in Millwall snatching the best youth talent from biggest clubs. He said, it will be useful because Joe's come from a world, not just at Chelsea but Everton and the Football Association, so his network is really strong. Joe's had a lot of contact time with top players, coaches and managers, technical directors, and has done a wide variation roles at Chelsea over the years, including the loan manager role for a period of time. The most powerful thing is not just his knowledge of the players, but knowledge of his personalities and characters and being able to help us with the reference in the background of those players. A lot has been made of Joe's relationship at Chelsea, and there's possibly an expectation that the January transfer window will open and the best 2 under-21s from Chelsea will turn up on the 1st of January, which won't be the case. Any player we sign has to be the right player for the right reasons, and there has to be an opportunity for that player. We've had good success with Premier League loans. Brook is doing well. Cressy and Shax last year. Dan Ballard the year before that. Jason Malombi from Brighton several years ago. So I think we're already well regarded by Premier League clubs. So I think Joe will only add to that. He's got a very good network, and a lot of people know Joe, like Joe, and trust Joe at Premier League clubs. So yeah, don't get excited. It looks like we're getting maybe two loan players. If that. So there you go. Where would you want those loan players to be? I don't know. Left wing back. Maybe striker, but do they still have strikers at that level? Any decent striker under 21s they'll be kept around, won't they? They won't really go out on loan. They're more forward players at that age, aren't they? Like Emaku has. So I don't know. Not too sure. I don't know. But there you go. Don't expect too much because you ain't getting it. Now, the reason for that, because money situation, as I've just mentioned about why we signed Joe Edwards and not Kevin Muscat or anyone who would command a decent wage as manager. There are things happening behind the scenes. Maybe not. Here we go. This is from a Swedish site called Spellcash. I think it's a bookmaking site or gambling site. Spellcash.se, that's Sweden. It's been translated by Microsoft Edge, which is my browser. Yes, I use Microsoft Edge. So what? It's about Hammarby. You remember them? We played them. They're sponsored by Huski. We played them in the Huski Derby. That player there, he's got a bit of Derby on him, hasn't he? Derby. Here we go. This is from the 13th, so 10 days ago, right? And it's taken a while to get in because it's in Swedish. And you would think with all this AI and stuff that they've got, that when you go on a search engine, that you could probably actually get like the Rosetta Stone. They could translate the entire global websites and you could search actually all of them, but you can't. You just get English stuff and you mostly get crap that's been manipulated to be in the top of the search engine or paid to be there. But yeah, so it took 10 days to find out about this. Hammarby and Huski go their separate ways. Now, it was, do you remember pre-season? Before we knew what the kits looked like, we had pictures from training and we had pictures of the new training kits. And everyone was like, aha, okay. They look alright, but there's no Huski chocolate on the label. What's going on there? Like, no Huski chocolate on front. Are they not sponsoring? Because we didn't know that the kits weren't out yet. So, oh my god, have they dropped out of being our sponsor? Have they dropped out of being our sponsor? Then that coupled up with Huski Chocolate UK Limited was dissolved. They've gone out of business. And their Huski Chocolate UK website was taken down as well. So, oh no, they've gone out of business. And it's like, oh no, that's just the UK thing, because that's like to do with Brexit, which is why Hummel pulled out of the deal that they did. So yeah, there was all that speculation at the start of the season. Are Huski going to be sponsoring our shirts? Have they gone bankrupt or what's going on? Well, we've got more news here now. So in 2021, Huski Chocolate became the main partner of Hammarby Football. The collaboration is probably the largest and most comprehensive cooperation agreement that has been entered into in a Swedish club football. Hammarby commented on the news at the time. Despite the fact that the agreement was then stated to be for at least 4 years until 2025, Spellcash.se can now reveal that it is likely to be broken prematurely and that this season was the last. So they've cancelled the deal in 2023. This is according to information provided to Spellcash.se. Huski chocolate has long been surrounded by speculation as it has made large losses, but at the same time invested heavily in sponsorship. In 2022, the company made a loss of over 100 million krona. That sounds like a lot. I don't know what the conversion rate is. One of the main financiers of Huski has been the real estate company Kvalitenia, which has had a tough time financially this year. It has raised questions among many whether Huski can continue to fund its extensive sponsorship commitments. According to Spellcash's.se's source, however, the economy should not be the main reason for breaking prematurely, but that other strategic reasons should be behind it. Unless something unforeseen happens, the news is expected to become official sometime now after the end of the season. So there you go. Now, it may be that they pulled out of the deal with Hammarby because they're going to carry on sponsoring Millwall. So they had to choose, was it Hammarby or Millwall? Millwall doing well at the moment, playing very well, getting a lot of playing. I think the Championship is the 5th most watched league in the whole world, after the big European ones, and then it's the Championship. So maybe it makes sense that they break the deal with Hammarby and stay with Millwall. They're sponsoring IndyCar in America. So there you go. But as I mentioned earlier, so if we go to, let's go to, this is a story I'm going to bring up later, but if you see the Huski Chocolate logo on the top right, if you click on that, it'll take you to huskichocolate.com. Now if you go down to the bottom and go to the Huski Chocolate logo here, they haven't updated that one, and it takes you to huskichocolate.co.uk, which is this one. As you can see, it's gone off. It's not there anymore. It's been, I assume some cheeky scamp has taken it over and provided links to chocolates and other stuff. God knows where that's going to go. And so there you go. So will Huski pull out of the Millwall deal? Are Millwall going to be losing a shirt sponsor at the end of this season? Maybe. Can they find one that funds them as well as Huski, or even better? Don't know. Depends how well we finish this season, doesn't it? But there you go. So again, the Huski thing is rumbling on. And it was always very weird, wasn't it? We've been sponsored by a chocolate brand that you can't buy their product anywhere. They put some in the club shop for a while, and I bought some, and it was all right. Apparently they're in ski resorts up in. They sell hot chocolate out of vending machines or something. But yeah, it's all very weird, isn't it? It's I think what they were trying to do is what Red Bull done. If you don't know what Red Bull is, or you probably know what Red Bull is now, because there's a YouTube video about how Red Bull became what Red Bull is, and it's absolutely fascinating. So some guy from Europe goes over to Thailand, and he sees this drink. He has this drink called Carabao. The sponsors is a Carabao Cup or something similar. There's those types of drinks are all over in the Southeast Asia. So he decides to himself, you know what, I'm going to take this back to Europe, take a recipe for this drink back to Europe, and we're going to sell it in Europe. And what Red Bull then did was absolutely marketing blitz. The Red Bull Gives You Wings campaign, the advertising campaign in cinemas and on TV, the cars that had the massive Red Bull cans on, the VW Beetles, going around giving out Red Bulls to people, giving Red Bulls to clubs and bars, and promoting it as a drink that you can take to stay up when you're like nightclubbing and stuff like that, vodka and Red Bulls and stuff like that. Doing the go-karts races down the hills and filming that very well and putting that on TV, making content for YouTube and stuff before that was a thing. And then with also at the beaches, beach resorts, where they would have the competitions where you make like what is it? So you make like a flying machine, and you jump off the pier, and whoever gets the furthest, is a competition for that, and people will come and watch that. And this Red Bull was like massive marketing campaign. It was a basic bog standard drink that tastes a bit shit, but the marketing behind it was absolutely relentless and ingenious, and they cemented themselves at the top of the drinks brands that now most people know who Red Bull is. I think that's to some extent what Huski were trying to do, but it didn't really work out. And not only that, but they haven't been selling the drink at the same time as doing that. So one hasn't been pushing the other. They've been sponsoring all these places, but they haven't been pushing the sales of the drink alongside it. So yeah, it did feel kind of weird being sponsored by a product that most people can't buy and doesn't really exist anywhere. And it all felt a bit fugazi, not real. And now it seems to be falling apart as the economies around the world start to fall apart. So there you go. Are we losing our shirt sponsor in the summer? Is that going to affect the summer spending? Almost certainly. So yeah, there you go. Let's hope we get these youth players back from the under 21s and we can get them in the championship football team. Yeah, Husky chocolate. What is happening? Now, moving on to this from the summitnews.co.uk. Interview with Murray Wallace, who is reaching a massive milestone, 200th Lions appearance. That Everton goal, forming bonds with fellow defenders and still itching for the playoffs. Murray Wallace reflects on Millwall career ahead of 200th Lions appearance. The defender joined the club back in 2018 and has experienced plenty of ups and downs. Typical Millwall player, coming from being brought in from a club like Scunthorpe, wasn't it? And not really much expected from him. Obviously has these limitations, but works hard, tries hard, puts a shift in, and is very well appreciated by the fans for that. So yeah, Murray Wallace is over the moon to be reaching 200 Millwall appearances, but says he's still got things he wants to achieve at the Den. The defender first appeared for the Lions in August 2018 in a 2-2 draw against Middlesbrough, spelt wrong, and has seen plenty of ups and downs during his time at the club. He will hit the milestone of appearances if he plays against Coventry City on Saturday, and says he's proud to reach the landmark, but is still focused on dragging Millwall to a coveted Championship playoff position. He still believes, yeah? He still believes. Wallace told our paper, "It's amazing. It will be the most appearances I've made for any club, and it's obviously a nice milestone for me. And to have been playing regularly since I've come here, which is always nice. When you're at a club for this long, you feel really settled. I'm quite fortunate to have players who've been here as long as me, if not longer, like Hutch and Coops. So that obviously helps, especially when it's players you play around like defenders. Personally, I just want to make as many appearances as I can. It's nice the 200 game mark is coming up. Obviously, I want to play as many games as possible. As for the team, we've been getting so close to the playoffs whilst gradually getting better every season. It would be nice to make that final step and get in the playoffs." The 30-year-old did not hesitate when asked about his favourite memory from his 5 years at the Den, immediately referencing his last-minute winner against Everton in the FA Cup. The Lions were handed a daunting task when they were drawn to face Marco Silva's side in the fourth round of the competition in January 2019, but goals from league regular Cooper and eventually Wallace led to a famous 3-2 win that left the Den delirious. And I would argue that probably led Everton to where they are now, which is just above the relegation zone. We started that. Wallace would then score the winning goal against AFC Wimbledon in the fifth round before Millwall took Brighton all the way to penalties in a devastating quarter-final loss. Asked about his favourite moment, Wallace said,
Oh, the Everton goal. That was amazing. I think the season before I came, Millwall had gone on a good run. And they had a bit of a reputation for going on good FA Cup runs. And that was sort of my first experience as an FA Cup run in Millwall. And to have the Den packed out playing against the Premier League team and scoring a last minute winner, the atmosphere and the celebrations, it was just brilliant. It was something I'll never forget. At the time, it was a bit of a blur, and it was only a few days after that I sung in. And every year when it comes up to around that time, it helps when they drop a On This Day video to reminisce of it. Having been brought in under Neil Harris and then playing under Gary Rowett for 4 years, Wallace is now adapting to his newest head coach in Joe Edwards. The fullback said he's impressed with his new boss's impact so far. He said, him and Andy are very approachable. He's been chatting to the lads one-on-one after training and stuff like that. And getting a feel for the squad personally, which is a nice touch. He said he's watched us and he knows we're a good, hard-working team. He doesn't want to come in and change everything. He knows he's got a good base to work with. It was just more about when we regain the ball. Not to think having to score straight away, which is something you can become focused on when you don't have the ball for long amounts of time. And the things he wants to bring to the squad, he wants to build it up and not just change it overnight. So that's definitely a positive impact he's had over such a short space of time. The training drills are slightly different than all in relation to what he wants us to do on the pitch. And it's good for us to be just doing those things and building those pitches so we know what to do on match days. Having scored his first goal in 19 months in the last game against Sheffield Wednesday, Wallace is keen for Millwall to put a good showing on Saturday and turn around their increasingly frustrating form at the Den. He added, "Our home record is not what it should be this season. We normally pride ourselves on having a really good home record. Normally one of the best in the league, so it's disappointing we've not quite picked up the points that we feel we should have and not quite had the performances we feel like we should have had at the Den." Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's it. So there you go, 200 up for Murray Wallace, and here's to many more. He epitomises the type of Millwall player that we love down there. Yeah, crunching tackles, getting stuck in. Good stuff. I'm very much a fan of Murray. I think he's mint. Now, moving on to this story. Now, final roundup of all the internationals. The official site waited until they'd all been done. Not like me, who gave you it over time. So, 5 Millwall players reported for international duty during the November break. Northern Ireland's Euro 2024 qualifying fixture in Finland may have ended in a 4-0 defeat, but for George Saville, the night will be memorable as he captained the side on what was his 50th appearance for the country. Saville and the Green and White Army were to bounce back in their final group match, however, beating Denmark 2-0 in Belfast. Hey! Elsewhere, Tom Bradshaw was an unused substitute in both of Wales' matches as they qualified for Euro 2024 playoffs. Slipping to a damaging 1-1 draw in Armenia, Kumlu's draw of the same scoreline against Turkey in midweek was not enough to seal automatic qualification to next summer's tournament in Germany, with Rob Page's side now facing a one-off home semi-final, so not home and away, against Finland for the right to play Poland or Estonia also at home in the final. Yeah, they've changed it now. I don't know what the fuck's going on with. They keep changing it. They've expanded the tournament. I mean, it's like 48 teams now, or some shit like that. They've got extra playoffs now to cope with that, but they can't have all these extra games, so they've gone for the team with the best record gets the home game automatically in like a kind of national conference style playoffs. We've got some pictures. Lovely jubbly. Here we go. George Saville there. Tom Bradshaw, Hidomu Imaku, Brooke Norton Cuffy. More on that later. Romain Essay there. And back around again. So there you go. At youth level, Hidomu Imaku was on target as Republic of Ireland's under-21s took on Norway in the Euro 25 qualifier, but the Emerald Isle were to slip to a 3-2 defeat, whilst an equaliser 6 minutes into stoppage half time then denied them a home victory against Italy on Tuesday night. It was 2-2 that game. Brooke Norton Cuffy was an unused substitute as England under-21s were 3-0 winners in Serbia in their attempts to qualify for the Euro 25 Championships, which is the same one Imaku is trying to qualify for. But the Arsenal loanee did taste action as he played the second half of the 3-0 win over Northern Ireland at Everton's Goodison Park. And I've got an issue to play with that.
So I checked the other day to see if Brook Norton Cuffy played, and it was on this website here, this page, bbc.co.uk. I come down here, and he wasn't listed. Now they've changed it. He's listed. He came on at half time. I think they missed the substitute for Livramento. I don't know if Livramento looks like Norton Cuffy or what happened there, but that wasn't listed. So I gently looked at this, saw that he didn't come on, and told you all that he didn't come on. So that I'm blaming the BBC for that one. Romain Esse, meanwhile, was heavily involved as England under-19s won the Marbella Cup following wins over Romania 6-0, Japan 3-2, and Mexico 7-1. Yeah, so I think he started one of those games and came on as a substitute in two of them. All of Millwall's internationals will now return to Calmont Road with the next and final break of the 23-24 campaign set for the end of March. So there you go. Only one more of these boring ass weeks. It feels like it's been ages, isn't it? But it's literally just been a week. I guess because by the time we play on Saturday, it would have been 2 weeks since the last game. So it actually is 2 weeks, but we missed a week. Yeah, so only one more in March, so hooray for that. Now, I forgot to mention this one. So, Ireland under-21s 2-2 of Italy, they were winning. That would have been a glorious win. It was history, apparently. It would have been a famous win. This is from RTE.ie. And Emaku is mentioned many times in the match report. And if you go on the community tab on the YouTube channel, I actually reposted a video of the highlights of this game, and you can see Emaku what he did in that game. He came off, surprise, surprise. Again, he comes off in the 90th minute. When do they concede? After Edomu Emaku comes off. It's almost like the kid's like Lucky Charm or something. Not only that, but if we go, where is it on here? So here we go. Ireland's manager has been sacked, and looks like 5 of the backroom staff as well. They've all been left. So who's he going to be? Is he going to be Gary Rowett? I don't know, but maybe Robbie Keane. I don't know, but I don't know. This could be a chance when this new manager comes in for some of these under-21s. Maybe Hidomu, to be given a chance, because the new manager is going to get a bit of a leeway to maybe try some things out, maybe bring some of these under-21s in, but maybe they leave them there because they're playing well. They nearly beat Italy. Just let them play and see if they can qualify for this tournament, and then wait until next summer to bring them up. But there you go. New manager for Ireland. Now, moving on to... It wouldn't be a Millwall video without more interviews with Joe Edwards. The guy just loves to talk. And they love to let him. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. I imagine... No, you know what I think it is? Do they have the view count here? So they don't have the view count here, but the Southern News does has the view count on their stories. If you go back to this one, you can see that Murray Wallace's interview has had a really low amount of views. 547. I think what must happen is that when they put up a Joe Edwards story, it must get quite a few views. So now they're just trying to milk it. I guess you've got to make some money somehow. But so here we go. I had to be very mindful. Millwall head coach Edwards had to balance enthusiasm with making sure squad stay fresh. Joe Edwards would have loved to have been on the training ground as much as possible during the international break, but had to temper that enthusiasm to make sure his Millwall squad are at maximum freshness for the resumption of championship action. The Lions' new head coach made a dream start to life in the job with a 4-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday earlier this month. But then came a shutdown from league commitments as the latest round of international matches came up. Millwall, I think, didn't they let some of the or most of the players go away for a few days? I think someone said they saw Jake Cooper at Gatwick, so I don't know where he was going. Millwall host Coventry City on Saturday and then head to promotion chasing Ipswich Town on Wednesday. Ooh, we got a double whammy coming up. Edwards told the South London Press, Me personally, I had to be very mindful of that because I was obviously in an international role, so my schedule in the weeks leading up to taking this job had been pretty low key. I hadn't been in a working environment every day working hard. So when I then came here and was a real excitement my end, I could have been here every day and would have loved to spend every day on the training pitch. But we had to recognise that although this is new, fresh and exciting for us, that this is a group that is very much in the grind of a championship campaign that had started back in pre-season in June or so. So to have those blocks of 3 days after the Sheffield Wednesday game and a weekend off that, we just had to keep recovering and keep fresh. So it's important because this spell now between the Coventry game and the next March international break is the biggest chunk of the season, really, where there are loads of games being played. To ensure we go into that ready but fresh is important. So there you go. So so they did have 3 days off after that Sheffield Wednesday game, and then they had last weekend off. So there you go. And that is literally the story. Like a paragraph. That's it. But then we go on to this, where we have another story from the same South London Press about Joe Edwards speaking. So they couldn't put it in one story; they put it into two. Millwall head coach has an interesting answer when asked about prepping an analysis of his oppositions. Joe Edwards explained his process for analysing opposition teams, with the head coach making it clear that the main focus in the lead up to matches will be more Millwall orientated. The Lions won 4-0 at Sheffield Wednesday, the 37-year-old's first game at the helm. Next up, a Coventry City at the Den on Saturday, before a trip to Ipswich Town next Wednesday. And Edwards reckons there are drawbacks to overly concentrating on fixating on what an opponent is going to do. It varies very much based on the schedule, said Edwards, when asked by the South London Press about when he begins to analyse the next team he's facing. So, for example, we are playing at Coventry City at home on Saturday, and I had my first look at them on Thursday last week, which is 9 days in advance, but purely because we could. There's nothing else on the horizon. When we play Ipswich, I'll probably be looking at them from the first time on Sunday morning, so a few days before. My big thing at the moment is that I'm a coach who believes in focusing much more on himself than the opponents. Something I've experienced in recent years is that firstly I speak to players a lot and I ask them what they find useful and like, and I also speak to managers and coaches they've liked working with, because I find it interesting to learn their viewpoints and previous experience. A recurring theme has been that sometimes they've worked with managers they think are good coaches and managers, but sometimes there's so much information about the opponent that you end up either probably being overly fearful of the opponent because you see a lot of what they're good at, or you get to a point where you know more about an opponent than you know about your own team and the game plan, what that game plan should be about. We also had a period at Chelsea. Did you know he used to coach at Chelsea? Where teams kept changing formation based on what we were doing. So we'd prepare by looking at opponent, and this is how they typically play and set up. And then you get to the game day and they've done something completely different to what we've been looking at for 4 days. And I learned from that not to get overly drawn into getting to know your inside out your opponent. In the coaching team, you can definitely have an in-depth knowledge and be ready for what you might need to face on game day or on game night. But the big thing is the players. I prefer them to be absolutely clear on what we want to be about and what our plan is based on us and our principles. Probably just having a good awareness of what that team we're about to face is about and what it's going to look like and feel like and who are their biggest threats. But certainly it will be a bigger focus on us than them. Even this week, as an example, we'll be talking about us a lot Thursday and Friday. I'll start dropping bits in about what the Coventry will look like. The players will definitely go into the game having heard a lot more about Millwall than Coventry. Okay. Alright. Now, moving on. Now, I saw this. Wow. Oh my god, wow. Under 1,000 tickets remain for Millwall versus Coventry City. Millwall take on Coventry City in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday the 25th of November, kick-off 3 p.m. By the way, there's no train for this game, again. It's a replacement bus from London Bridge to Streatham. With limited tickets remaining in certain areas of the Den, the Barry Kitchen stand has just a handful of tickets left to sell, while a couple of hundred tickets remain in the Docker stand, most likely in Zampa's family stand, blocks 13 and 14. More availability remains in the Cobble Lane stand, but be quick because once they are gone, they are gone. So there you go. Now I saw that and thought, oh my god. And then I realised, hang on a minute. Record skip. Let's have a think about this. The club announced that they sold a record amount of season tickets. I think it's something like between 9,000 and 9,500. Might be more by now, but they announced that. The home sections only hold about 12,500, maybe 13,000. So you've already sold 9,500 tickets. That only leaves 3,000 tickets to sell to home fans. So you're saying you've sold 2/3 of the tickets that you have left to home fans, and you've still got a third left. Like, do you think they're trying to ramp it up a bit? You can see it. Like, every time when I see make these videos, I go into the Millwall OS. There's an ad in the middle of the website that they keep bombarding you with emails every day. Like, oh, it's your Joe Edwards is your friend. He wants you to come to the Coventry game. Come down to the Coventry game. It's like, is this part of that? Is this like they're trying to what do they call it? Fabricating scarcity. It's still a third of the tickets that they have left to sell after season tickets have already been taken. So that poses the question: is it because it's the 1,000 number that's resonating with people? Should they? When do they let you know how many tickets are left? Should it be 1,000, 500? Like, when do they let you know that the tickets are running out? I don't know, because they tried to do the same thing for Southampton, but they never announced it had sold out. So there was still a few tickets available on the Saturday for that game. But then after the game, they had sold it out. They mentioned that, oh yeah, it did sell out. So it sounds like, the tickets are nearly running out. But they've only got 3,000 tickets or so to sell to home fans anyway. So that's just a bit, it seems a bit, what's the word, bullshit. But like I said, what is the number that they should tell you that they have left? Is it 1,000? Is it 500? Is it 250? I don't know, but there you go. Seems they're trying to get a full house for Joe Edwards' first home game, and this is the big test, isn't it? Was that game against the shittest team in the league a one-hit wonder? We are about to find out if Joe Edwards knows what he's talking about, or he's full of hot hair. Now, this is happening tomorrow. Blue Friday, not Black Friday, Blue Friday. They've been doing deals all week. I haven't told you about them because they've been a bit naff, but this one's a bit significant. So 30% off some items in the Lions store on Black Friday. So if you don't know what that is, so they say Blue Friday in the graphic, and they say Black Friday. I guess that's for so it comes up in search events, because who knows what the fuck Blue Friday is. But so Black Friday. Black Friday is an American thing. Would you believe it? Thanksgiving is today, on Thursday. There you go. It's a holiday, big holiday in America, secular holiday in America. And they basically, most of the middle classes and above will get the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday and the Sunday off. So on the Friday, they all go to the shops. Because the working classes don't get the day off and they have to work in the Walmarts and the shops and whatnot, Targets, whatever. So those shops decided to do deals to get people in, because it's a month to Christmas. So they discount some stuff to sell it, because people might want to buy it for Christmas presents and whatnot. Which makes a lot of sense, unlike in this country where they could do the sales on Boxing Day, and it's all the shit that they couldn't sell at Christmas. And still people queue up and stampede for that shit on Boxing Day. The next sale especially, like, what the fuck is that about? So, there are further savings to be made in the Lions store this Black Friday weekend using the code MFC EVENT, capital letters, all one word. Supporters can buy items online such as Millwall's home and third kits, so not the away kit, training wear, leisure wear, and much more at 30% off. The offer is also available in store, so don't delay and shop today. The Lion store is open at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday to Saturday, but will be closed on Sundays. Okay. So, when is this code actually working? It just says, oh, Black Friday weekend. Black Friday weekend. So this code works all weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Is it already working now, or is it working on Thursday? I don't know. Maybe it was because they were doing the thing for the whole week. I don't know. But yeah. But here's the thing with the situation that we've been having with Fanatics and people 2 months waiting for stuff, getting the wrong stuff delivered. Do you chance it, and do you is this going to cause them another massive problem where everyone bombards them with orders at the same time and they can't fucking cope? And even though it's 22 days to Christmas, if you order stuff for Christmas online, will it come in time? Fingers crossed. I mean, what if it doesn't? I mean, fucking hell. If it doesn't, can you cancel your order and then go and buy it online at the price that you bought on this day? Or can you just turn up at the shop and say, look, I'm here to collect this order, and then they have to deal with it and cancel it behind the scenes? But if you want to chance it, and order it online, you can do it online and get 30% off using the code MFC event. Or you can go down there Friday, today, Saturday, obviously game day, which it'll be busy if you go there, if you try and sneak in before kickoff. But it's going to be closed on Sunday. But also, when does this code run to? We have a lot of international fans. What are the times? Is it GMT time? What is it? So is literally, will it stop working 11:59 GMT on Sunday? I think you might want to let people know when the code is running to, especially people abroad. So there you go, 30% off of many things. That's quite a significant saving on if you've got to buy a few kits for a few kids. Now, talking of buying stuff for Christmas, here we go. We're nearly finished. Don't worry, we're nearly finished. Here we go. We've got a 2024 Achtung Millwall podcast calendar. £12. That's £1 a month. Not bad, not bad. And money raised, I believe, goes to charity. Not mentioned here, but I believe it does. Yeah, the Food Hub. So all profits generated from the sale of this calendar will support the Food Hub's fantastic work. Huge thanks to Brian Tonks. So it looks like Brian Tonks has donated these pictures for this calendar to raise money for the food. So fair play, well done, Brian Tonks. Absolutely brilliant of you to do that. So here we go. 12 pictures are Sean Hutchison. Is that January? Can we see it? I can't see it now. Jimmy Abdu, Bart Biakowski, Alan Dunn, David Ford, Lee Gregory, Neil Harris, Matt Lawrence, Stephen Morrison, Paul Robinson, Danny Shittu, Darren Ward, and Tony Warner. I think what this is. Oh yeah. So this. I should bloody read it before I ramble on. It features players of the season since the opening of Millwall's Zampa Road Stadium in 1993. So 30 years at the Den, and you've picked out 12 players who've been player of the season. I think a couple of them player of the season more than once. So I'm sure we've had more than 12 players of the season in those 30 years. Can you name them all? Pop quiz. I bet you probably can, because you're cheating and you'll Google it, you cheating fucking bastards. But not only that, so it's £12 or 4 interest-free payments, £3 with ClearPlay. If you need to buy a £12 calendar on the Never Never, on the tick, you probably shouldn't do that and just save your £12. But there you go. So where can you buy this? Where? Well, you go to Achtung-Millwall-podcast.square.site. So there you go. Calendar. Get a calendar of some sexy Millwall players and help raise money for the Lions Food Hub. Why not? Why not do it? Now, Also, as well as I told you about these before, but I didn't show you the site. It was mentioned on Millwall's official site. Victor Publishing, Victor Publishing, as you can see on the screen there. They've come up with some books detailing it season by season, a few of the better seasons in Mill's history. 88, 89, 87, 88, 75, 76, 65, 66, 64, 65. They've also got some other books like 30 Decades at the Den, some pictures and prints and stuff. South Bermondsey Homesick Blues, because my dad does other stuff. So there you go. If you're looking for a Millwall, look at these ones, only $6.99. So if you're looking for a cheap book for someone, or a cheap present, but it's kind of meaningful, here you go, $6.99 from victorpublishing.co.uk. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.